What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Ashley. What we do on my channel is whatever I feel like. Today I feel like doing a full face of Wet n Wild makeup. It is from the drugstore, Walmart, HEB because I'm in here in Texas, Walgreens, CVS if you have Rite Aid, whatever. This is drugstore makeup, super good prices, and you can get a really good look for really super good prices. The only thing I don't have from Wet n Wild is a setting spray, so I'm going to be using my E.l.f. Cosmetics setting spray, and I also don't have any Wet n Wild sponges or like a foundation brush, so I'm going to be using a Sonia Kashuk sponge, which is also from the drugstore. It's from Target, but close enough, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so first thing, as always, we are going to prime the skin, and this right here is the Photofocus Face Primer in Matte. As I've stated before, I have very oily skin, so I'm always into a mattifying primer. I don't think it has any pore filling properties, but that's okay. I definitely do have some large pores, but they're not too bad, and I don't mind having, you know, some pores shine through. We're all human, right? So before I go into foundation, I showed you guys this in my last video and I said how terrible it was, and today I'm going to show you why it's bad. And I'm going to put this on underneath my foundation, and I'm just going to start with it right here. I'm going to drag this on. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it on camera, but you can kind of see here how it just doesn't really lay flat. I don't know, it's almost like it's too dry and flaky, but I'm hoping underneath the foundation it will be okay. So speaking of foundation, I am actually going to be using two different foundations from Wet n Wild. The first one is their original Photofocus foundation in soft beige. They also came out with a dewy one, which I have no interest in trying because, again, oily skin. The other one is their Photofocus foundation stick. So I'm going to be doing this on the majority of my face because this is closer to my real skin tone, but I'm going to be using this almost as like a contour, not really, but this is a little bit darker than my skin tone, so I'm going to kind of put it here, and on the forehead. Okay, so what I'm noticing about the stick foundation is just that it doesn't blend out super well. So when you put it on, it kind of just goes as far as where you put it. It doesn't really blend out very far. Like, you kind of have to put it all over your face and then blend it out, and it'll barely go anywhere. The coverage is fine. It's not really covering these zits here that I have. You can definitely still see the redness. What I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna put some more of the original Photofocus on top and see if the coverage is better with it. Definitely still seeing some redness poking through, but I think it might just be the severity of this acne. It is pretty red and sticking out pretty far. So probably not the foundation's fault. It's doing the best it can. So now that that's all blended in, I do like the way it looks. Like I said, the coverage is pretty good. The sunspots on my nose are still peeking through, which is pretty normal. I haven't really found a foundation that'll cover those yet, so that's no big deal. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to concealer, and these are the Photofocus concealers. It's the only name on it. Okay, so I'm just going to take this concealer directly under the eye. Now this concealer isn't super duper full coverage, but I love the way it blends out. It doesn't stick to my dry patches like some other ones do. It builds up pretty well, so you can get it to a place where it'll cover what you need it to. without it being super heavy and just, you know, looking cakey. So I'm using this lighter shade. This is in 834 Fair Beige, and this is pretty pale. And then I'm gonna take this darker one, which is Light Ivory, and put it underneath so it blends into my foundation shade kind of seamlessly. I'm just gonna put this here. To go in with the Wet n Wild Photofocus Translucent powder. This is a super good powder. I like it a lot. This is my second one that I've purchased so far. It's a super good powder. It doesn't get too cakey. I shouldn't say cakey. I have a lot of trouble with my under eyes. Like I've said before, I always end up looking old. I've heard it described as like orange peel skin. That's kind of how it ends up looking sometimes. So we'll see if it works well with its other products in its family. I've not used it in this fashion with Wet n Wild on Wet n Wild on Wet n Wild, so let's see how it goes. So the bake is on and I am looking crazy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the same powder. I'm just gonna use the little remnants that's in the lid here, swirl that into my brush and powder the rest of my face. Alright, so now it's time to move on to the eyes. I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Fantasy Makers Quad. I just picked this up at Walmart. There was a bunch of different ones. I think this is new from what I can tell. I think I actually saw this on Trend Mood a couple days ago, maybe yesterday or the day before. This quad is called Fanny Pack. I am going to try to use only this for my eyes. I might need, we'll see how it looks, but I might need to use, I also have this. This is old. They don't even do their palettes like this anymore. They changed their packaging. But I might need to use this darker brown in here to kind of darken up the outside edge. But hopefully I can just use this quad. And just for this video, I don't normally use this brush, but I do have it. It's one of the first brushes that I bought when I first started doing makeup because they're $1 or maybe $2, no matter where you get them from. I think I may have gotten these ones at Five Below or Walmart. But they're super cheap. They will do the trick if it's all you can afford. Wet n Wild, I am telling you, they will come in clutch. If you want to get a full face and look great and not spend $25 on one product like you will do in Sephora. So enough rambling, let's get into the eyeshadow. I'm going to start off with this peachy kind of shade, and I'm going to take this all over like I do with my fluffy brush, kind of all over the lid as a little bit of a transition, but more of just an all over set. So now we're going to try this again. I'm going to go into this peachy shade here on my Wet n Wild blender brush, I think. If there was a name, it's gone. I've rubbed it off. So I'm going to tap off the excess here. Okay, so I think I've gotten that shade to a good place, and now okay, so I'm dipping into this pink shade and I'm gonna start kind of building up the outside of my eye. So I'm going to pat on the outside, and I'm really trying to keep it, you know, in this area. When I start going out here, it makes my eyes look really short and long, which is just not a good look on my face. So I'm just going to pat this on. Guess what, guys? It happened as per stinking usual. Let me see if you can see. Okay, so see how right here there's like a line that's more pigmented than the rest? That's what happens every time that I pat on a color and then try to blend it out. It just sticks on the edge and goes away in the middle. That's what always happens. Now these shadows are Wet n Wild. They're kind of hit and miss sometimes. Most of the time they're pretty good, but it could just be the shadow and not me, but it's probably me. So, but I think I'm just gonna cover it up with this darker shade. So I'm gonna actually just go ahead and go in with that and kind of deepen up right there. And I'm going to use this Morphe M434. It's a flat tapered brush. I don't know how to describe it. So I'm gonna go into this palette. Did I tell you what this palette was? No. Not a Basic Peach is what it's called. So I'm going into this this brown shade here. So I put that on the brush, tapped off the excess, and I'm going to put it right here. And I'm almost doing kind of like a triangle shape. So up to about my crease. And I'm just gonna give it a little shaky shake. So I'm laying that color down like that. And then I'm gonna go back in with this M441. And there was a little bit of excess powder on there. I'm just, holy cow, that's dusty. And I'm just gonna blend that brown into that pinky shade so it's not so stark. You guys, it's doing it again. Look at that. Look at how dark that line is right there and how there's like nothing in the middle. Okay, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take my magic eraser brush. This has that light transition shade on it, and I am just going to go like this and basically try to more or less erase it. Oh, guys, I'm so annoyed. All right, well, I have learned that even if you mess up, you have to follow through on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this on the other side, and maybe it'll turn out better, maybe not. I'm hoping that these glitters will come through for me and it'll just fix what I got going on here. Let me just finish up this other side. I'm annoyed. Whatever. Okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. So what I'm gonna do is go back into these two mattes that are in here. I think I'm just gonna mix them together actually, both the pink and the peach. And I'm just gonna kind of go back into what I did at the beginning and blend this up here, but I'm really gonna see if I can get this blended in because it's looking gnarly. All right, so back here it looks all right. So let's go ahead and just move on to the glitter and hope for the best. So these are the two glitters. I know I've showed you before. So there's obviously that gold one, which looks a little bit chunkier than the orange one. I want to use them both. But I'm trying to decide. I think I want to put the orange out here and then the gold on the inside. So like half and half, not, yeah, I'm trying to do it half and half. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch these real quick and see their texture, whether they have like any binder or it's just like a chunky pressed glitter that's not gonna stick. I have bought a single shadow that was a glitter from Wet n Wild and it was so bad I could not use it. It was 99 cents, so I didn't feel too bad throwing it away, but I tried to use it once and I couldn't. So all that to say, okay, so I'm doing the gold one here. It actually doesn't feel too bad. Oh, there's like not a whole lot going on my finger. Let me press a little harder. Oh, it is the same as that stinking. Oh, there's like a gel, like a jelly base. So it's like a spray over with glitter, and then there's like I don't even know if I want to use this. Oh, it's like Vaseline. Like it's a Vaseline texture. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's like sticking up off my, oh, my legs are so gross. Oh, you guys, I'm scared. You know what? We're here. We're already here. I am just gonna not use it on my finger. Everything that I said in my last video is just going to crap. I'm like, I don't use brushes because fingers are better, but I am so scared. I'm just gonna use a brush. So I'm gonna take this brush. I'm so scared. Okay. Man up. I can do this. I can do this. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go in. You guys. Okay. Let's see if I can what it did. So who do you think you are, Wet n Wild? Just because you have a good foundation, you can just like, man, the glitter doesn't matter. We'll just put Vaseline in it. Okay. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm just gonna setting spray it real quick. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh. Do you see it like pulling? It actually looks kind of okay on camera. It's a little annoying. Well, I tell ya, it doesn't feel great. See, it didn't stick right there. So I'm going to pretty much just keep patting at this to get the excess off. Yeah, it pulled up what little of that brown shade was underneath. And again, one thing I have learned is you must follow through on the other side. So it's just so yucky. I think I'm just gonna use a shimmer. Oh, it's like sticking my eyelid shut. I just had my eyes closed for a second. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so bad. It's so bad. Ugh. All right, so if you come across those palettes at Walmart, pass. Like the two mattes that are in it are fine. They take some time to build up because they're light shades, and that's fine. But hard pass on the glitter. Hard pass on the glitter. I'm not even gonna put my finger in that orange one. It's so pretty. I want to. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So I think I'm going to go into this shade here. It's kind of a coppery reddish. Oh my gosh, you guys. This texture, it like feels like glue. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. So again, with the same brush, it's sticky enough. This should stick to my eyelid, hopefully this time. I'm heated, guys. I'm heated. All right, here we go. Oh, that's the business. That's it. There we go. I mean, it's still sticking a little funny just because of that weird whatever the base is on that glitter. I have learned my lesson. I am never, ever, ever falling for a Wet n Wild glitter ever again. Never. Alright, I need to chill out. Remember how I told you in my last video I need to stop being angry, so I stopped getting this line? Welcome to the anger. Okay, so that's about as good as that's gonna get. So now I'm gonna go in with the gold shade, and I actually am just gonna use my finger for this one. Okay, So in with the gold, and I'm going to put this on the inner half of my lid. Ooh, that's fun. It's kind of like a fall, it just reminds me of like a phoenix, you know. I'm rising from the ashes of this terrible, terrible Wet n Wild quad. Here I come. Fun. That's cute. Whoops. Used the wrong finger again. Oh well. Just gonna end up with it on my lower lash line. Who cares? I'm done. I'm done. I'm not done. I have to do the lower lash line. Okay, so I am going to go off camera. I'm going to do the lower lash line, liner, mascara, and then I'm going to come back and show you the lashes, but I'm probably going to also put those on off camera because it takes me an embarrassingly long time. So I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I'm back with liner and mascara done. So I'm going to tell you what I did for those. So of course they're both Wet n Wild, and I used the breakup proof liners. I used the retractable liner in black. This is a brand new one. It went on pretty good. It didn't go on great. I really love my Mary Kay retractable liner because it just goes on in one swipe. It's super dark, super easy. Incredible. This went on pretty good. I mean, you have to put on your waterline, which is wet, so getting something to stick to something wet can definitely be tricky, but it went on pretty good, so we'll see how it wears. It's supposed to be breakup proof, which I assume means waterproof, tear proof, that kind of stuff. I hadn't used that retractable one before, but I have used this one. This is, again, my second breakup proof liquid eyeliner. I blanked on the name. So it's brush tip. I really love the brush tip. It works super great. It goes on. It's a nice and stiff brush tip, so it's easy to put it on. You can keep it really close to the lash line, which I have struggled with a lot. And this one is incredible. It's a really great eyeliner. And both of these, the retractable is $2, and this one I think is $3 or $4. Again, you really can't beat the prices for those types of liners. So this I've had for a while and I haven't really used. This is the Mega Protein Mascara. I don't know why protein, but I actually really like it. I spent some time putting it on. Like, I went really slow and really brushed the lashes up, and I actually really like the way it turned out. I did not curl my lashes at all, but I mean, I think they turned out pretty good. They're not sticking together. It separated them really well, gave them some length. This is what the brush looks like, and I surprisingly really like it. And this one, they do have some like $5, $6, $7 mascaras. This one was $1. I think when I went back to the store and today and was looking, it was $2, but somehow I got this for $1, a $1 mascara, and it's amazing. I love it. So now, I have never seen in person a Wet n Wild set of lashes, but today I have set my eyes on them. They are just straight lines. There's no crisscrossing, there's no wispy, there's no nothing. It is just a long straight lash. I haven't taken them out of the box yet, so I don't know how they feel, but gotta tell you, I don't have my hopes real high. So I am going to go off camera and try and stick these guys on. And I just looked at the camera and realized I haven't done my brows, so I'm also going to do those off camera, and I will just show you what I'm going to be using. You can tell this one's well loved, like everything is wearing off the front of this. So this is the, let me see if I can, Ultimate Brow Kit. I've seen some people use this before. It is amazing. I think it was like $3, $4, and what comes in here is a tiny bitty brush. You can totally use this. It's a little bit of a pain, but it's a pretty sharp brush, so you can really, you know, draw in individual brush hairs. Of course, has a spoolie. For the pomade, which I don't really use just because I don't know how to and I don't want to mess it up, so I just kind of don't use it. It comes with a tiny little tweezer. It's not awesome, but in a pinch, I mean, I think it's metal even. Like, it feels cool to the touch, like, you know how metal feels cold. And let me show you what I discovered on this thing. I was kind of looking around it, and then I noticed under here, it's like a little grippy grabby thing, and I'm like, oh, what does this do? It is a whole mirror in this thing. Like a mirror. For $3, you get a brush, a spoolie, a tweezer, and a mirror, 2 shadows, and a pomade? Okay, Wet n Wild. Okay. We get it. You're amazing. Okay. I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna go put on my lashes, put on my brows, and I will be back in just a moment. Alright guys, I'm back. I wish I could tell you that it didn't actually take me 20 minutes, but it sure did. So they're fine. I mean, they're pretty big, but they're not super thick. So you can definitely still see the eyeshadow through it, which I like. They're too big. Like the outside is way too large. But you probably could trim it, and I did trim like one bunch off the end. You probably could trim it more and just, you know, scooch it over to the side. But I think it's fine. You know, they're Wet n Wild lashes, and I don't really wear lashes, so I can't really give you an honest review anyways, because I don't know anything about lashes. So I spent way too much time fussing with the eyes, so we are going to blow through blush, bronzer, contour, highlight, and lips. I am going to tell you what I have, and I am gonna put it on. So to start, for bronzer, contour, I have 2. I thought I had 3. I have 2 of these Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzers. I have Take It to Brazil and Sunset Striptease. This one is very light. I don't think it's really going to do much for me, and also now that I'm getting kind of to the bottom of the pan, it's getting more shimmery. So, oh, it just broke. Oops, poopsie. I'm gonna leave that there. So I'm probably gonna use Sunset Striptease, and then for blush, pardon my itch, I'm going to be using this Wet n Wild also Color Icon blush in Pinch Me Pink. This has a tiny bit of shimmer in it, but it's not too bad. I don't mind it. And then I'm going to use the Mega Glow highlighting powder in Blossom Glow. And then last but not least, I don't have a Wet n Wild lip liner that will match like I told you before. I have that red one, but probably not going to work with this pink. This is literally the only Wet n Wild lipstick that I have. I believe this is a gloss high shine lipstick, so it does not dry down matte. It's pretty. It's not really going to match the look, but is what it is. So enough talking, let's get into applying. So this is where we ended up. I think it's fine. It's quite the journey to get here. Today did not go as planned. I was really trying to look out for Wet n Wild here, but pretty much the only things that are really I'm still die hard in love with. I really like that mattifying primer. I really like the liquid foundation. The stick is so-so. I probably am not going to use it again simply because it's a pain in the rear to blend in. Powder, A++++++++. Probably not going to be using Wet n Wild shadows in the future. Brow kit, A+. Mascara, A+. Liners, so good. I'm not huge on lipstick, so this is fine. I just don't like lipstick really in general. This is not going to dry down. The color's fine, doesn't go with the eye look, but I think that's everything. Oh, highlight, always incredible. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed riding along on the struggle bus with me. It's been, I would like to say that it's been a great time, but it's been a rough one. Hopefully I'll be seeing you at the next video, but until then, bye.